Um, anyway, I can't say enough nice things about our speaker this morning. I've known Jenny, I think when I moved to a Remax office in Birmingham, and she was my coach for a very short time. But she poured in a lot of good information and I really absorbed it. I used it as I built my business in later years. I was at a stage in my business where maybe some of you all are, or where some of our other agents are. I was working for an investor, very flexible hours, and just wasn't quite ready to jump full in for real estate. But I learned so much from her and some of the other agents that are in that office that when I finally did jump in and do real estate full time, I knew what to do and how to do it. And it just really helped. She really gave me some good building blocks. So this year when Christy asked me to try to find somebody to maybe pour into our agents, took me a couple days to think about it. And then I thought, you know what, I'm going to reach out to Jenny. Jenny's been in real estate for 27 years. She comes from the Deep South, which y'all know I had a long period of time in the Deep South, and that's got this little Southern accent. But Jenny came out of Mississippi. Her father was a real estate agent, so she was like a lot of agents who were like born and bred into real estate. I was not, I came from a medical background, so, you know, real estate just is what I fell into. But Jenny has poured into agents coaching for the past, I don't even know how many years, 15, 20 years probably. And I think that, like I shared with you guys, this is something that Christy's providing for us, our owners are providing for us. And if we can glean just a few golden tidbits, it will be well worth your time and hopefully well worth the money that our owners have spent to bring Jenny in. Jenny has a lot of personality and she's got a lot of energy, and I'm hoping that that will come through as she shares today. She's going to speak to us. We'll have lunch and then we'll have some Q&A for y'all to be able to pick her brain on some things. So y'all welcome Jenny. We're glad to have you. You remember all that? I didn't you were bio. I read it and took it in.
Thank y'all so much for being here. I was once a Remax agent because I chose Remax because Remax agents know what the hell's going on. I cussed y'all, but I love Jesus. I woke up Monday with the crud. And so I may have to excuse myself and go blow my nose, but so my voice is nice and I've got lots of soap on me too. So I've got fashion fair for you. We've got something for everyone this morning. I am Jenny Williams, like Tyann said that. I went into this business kicking and screaming in 1997. I was pregnant out to here. I refused to go into the real estate business because my dad had always been in the real estate business my entire life. I knew nothing of it. He would leave at the table at New Year's and disappear for hours. He was on the phone constantly. We had those super long cords in the house so that he could pace on contracts. Like ridiculous. I'm like, I'm doing anything with that crap. You know, like Eddie Murphy's movie, Haunted Mansion, where they're all excited and they're going on vacation, and he goes, "We just have to stop by this one house." And I'm like, no, right? And they get trapped for the whole weekend. That was my life as a kid. Now, granted, we got to go on lots of nice vacations because Dad made bank. But we moved 11 times in 10 years that my parents were married, the first 10 years, because that one last house he needs to show them was always ours. So we'd have to go, hey, pack up your room by midnight. We've got to be out. These people are moving here from California. So I wanted nothing of this lifestyle at all. And I went into the casino business and loved it. But y'all think we work 24 hours a day? It really never does sleep with the casino business. I could pop up at 2 a.m. and tell my employees like what to press on the computer screens. I ended up, because I'm just a glutton for punishment, I ended up at the 21, at the age of 21, running 3 different departments, having 51 employees that were all over the age of 50, and making no money, working around the clock. So I decided that's for the birds. I quit, and they were paying my all my living expenses. They were giving me a place to live in Biloxi on the beach. They were paying all my insurance. It was a really good setup. And I said, young and dumb, I'm over this. And I walked out. And so then I felt like the only thing I could do was get my real estate license because I found out I was pregnant and I had just given up insurance. So fun stuff. So out to here, 25 years old, got my license and went to work with my dad. And there is no training. I would say, Dad, I'm ready to be like you. He'd go, okay, baby, you just got to get out there. I'm like, how do I get out there, Dad? I don't know what to tell you, baby. Just get out there. That was his advice. And so nobody would recruit me that actually had some training because, right, you're not going to pull me away from Dad. And so I made a vow at that moment. And we didn't have online stuff. This was before the internet. So I made a vow that whenever I figured this thing out, I was going to passionately share this with other people. And my superpower is figuring out what makes you tick, what your natural skills and talents are, and figuring out how to put your lead sources with that so that life is easier for you. I make my life hell, but I can make other people's life a lot easier. So, some of the things I'm going to share with you today are tried and true, and I'm going to give you some things that are classics that you forgot. I'm going to also give you some things like, oh, I need that today in my business because I took a look at your market. Your market's actually up. You're doing pretty good. But I can say, you know, I've got the fun way to earn 6 figures in this business. Right now, this market, even though y'all are up, is not fun. Nobody has a sense of urgency. Every seller has super unrealistic expectations of pricing. And like Tyann and I were talking about, nobody wants to do crap to get their house ready. And it's like pulling teeth, and even the buyers that you're working with, like, oh, I need to move right away, and I need this. I found the exact perfect thing. Okay, maybe in a few weeks we'll take a look at what the. No, within the hour, right? So like having that sense of urgency and getting people to do something right now is impossible. So then, right, it was just the election. That's what everybody was using, the election. And then that happened. My phone did start ringing on Wednesday, right? And I'm like, all right, we're done with that mess, but still no sense of urgency. So I'm going to give you some things that are going to help you stack that. Clients and prospects through conversations that when they're ready, you're going to be like so covered up for the spring. Good? Are we good? All right. So I ended up, when I was in Mississippi, I sold over 60 houses a year with 2 car seats. And I went everywhere with me. I would pretty much say, hey, you hold one baby, I'll write the offer. I didn't ask people's permission. I just had to do what I had to do at the time. I just didn't want to send them to daycare. Well, when you sell a lot of houses, high volume to people that have no money, you become extremely valuable because you got to figure out how to fix everything, right? So 5 years of that hell, I moved to Birmingham, and just such a different market. But that's where a lot of the value comes into what I'm going to share is figuring out how to make things happen and get it to the closing table. But also getting that many people to hire you. It's a big deal, and you want to grow with that every single year. So through the years, just the different experience that I've had. And when I went to Birmingham, I'm like, I'm going to a RE/MAX office because there was no way. We didn't even have a RE/MAX in our town. And that's where the superstars went. I don't know if y'all remember the marketing at the time. That's where everybody went when you knew what you were doing because it's time for you to pay 100% or get 100% by paying your rent, paying your fair share. And I absolutely loved it. Of course, I walked in and asked my prospective broker at the time, what's your average sales price? But honey, I don't know. I'm like, uh-oh. I thought RE/MAX agents were the best. So I did have to end up changing brands a little bit later, but on a broker that can answer those questions. But so as far as being in sales, being a broker owner, a team leader where I ran offices where we had 200 agents. I've done a little bit of everything in the business, and whenever I met Tyann, that Remax broker, he was like, I want you to stop doing sales and I want you just to focus on the agent. So I actually did that with Good Real Estate Life for 16 years. And, then in 2018, I decided, hey, I'm getting back into sales. I did not sell a house for 10 years myself. I was involved in a lot of, thousands of transactions behind the scenes because of the people that I coached. But I was terrified because I knew all eyes were gonna be on me, right? Oh, sure, she can tell everybody how to do stuff, but let's watch her sing. That's exactly how I felt. So that, year, that first year back, I only had a database of 42 people, sphere of influence, because I gave all my sphere of influence away. And you couldn't be an asshole and go back and go, I know, I'm gonna start marketing to them again, right? Like, that's not very nice. I could have. I could have. I know, but I love my agent relationships, right? So I was like a brand new agent. And I wanted to tell you that I ended up at, 12 million that first year back and about 36 transactions. And then it's just been growing from there. So, that I'll tell you all that mess just to say, I'm with you. I'm one of you. And, the stuff that I'm going to share with you actually works. So, what problems right now are you facing? What kind of feedback? What are you seeing?
Low inventory.
Low inventory, okay? So we need somebody to raise their hands to say, we will sell. All right, and so in the inventory that you've got, what we're saying is kind of crappy.
And slow moving. Yeah.
I think that's the hardest part for me that I've been facing is even though you say there's no showings going on right now, whenever we go live, do not expect a showing. We have some showings. I said, do not expect any showings, right? And it is harder to stay in touch because we've been used to for the past couple of years, like 20 showings and multiple offers and having this thing wrapped up on a weekend, right? Well, guess what? We're back to real estate. We're back to the real world. And that's okay because people will start quitting this year. Hallelujah. That means more income for you, more opportunities for you, more expertise for you. People are already getting their full-time jobs. I mean, we've just seen so many people get out of the business already. Hallelujah. That means every one of you here have such an opportunity. This market is just waiting for you to show up in it. So, anything else that y'all want to say? Low inventory.
Rates are back to what they were in the early 90s.
Yeah.
So, they were 7, 8, and then they went down, and then way down, and then back up. And I know it's almost close to the 5% maybe ideal or normal, but people can't get over my house is financed at 2.75%.
Right.
So if I sell it.
And so I'm seeing a trend, you're probably seeing a trend here too with that. So, like I went on a listing appointment this week and they have less than a 3%. So we're having these international buyers make offers on these houses that they want to pay on the equity just to buy the interest rate. Very interesting. Every market offers something new, right? One thing that I actually have been, advertising and promoting is, hey, if you got a 3% interest rate or less, why don't you rent that house out? Because you will be able to cash flow. Nobody else is, right? With the way rates are for, investment properties, but that has actually gotten a lot of attention. So that is one thing that we could start promoting out there.
I was at a meeting a couple days ago and the statistic from Frankfurt is that there are 200,000 houses short in Kentucky. Wow, for people that actually need a place to put up their money.
Wow.
So they were really pushing, the government right now is really pushing multi-housing versus single-family homes. Because it's so expensive to develop. The reason I bring all this up is because when there's multi-generational families living in one home, other issues spawn off that. And it changes the culture of how people expect to live rather than how we used to live. Like I have my in-laws in my basement right now. I never thought that would have happened.
Right.
Thank God, 22 days from now they go. I know development wise, our government in Kentucky is pushing massive apartment complexes. A lot of multifamily, and we don't sell those. So, I think that's another deeper issue.
Yeah, that is.
Fayette County is 40,000. 40,000.
And there's already a lot of rental in Fayette County. I think the other thing to see is buyers who want to wait and see if the rates are gonna go down.
Yeah.
Because they keep hearing the rates are gonna go down.
I don't think
and then
they are.
So trying to get them, to go on and jump in because we say you can always refinance next year if the rates go down, whenever they go down, but.
And
Yeah, a lot of
building
them.
new, affordable, new
Affordable
housing is
housing.
not even realistic.
No.
Because- And this is, again, I'm sorry if I'm going like when we're here, and we're not supposed to, but, you've got, infrastructure issues. Like sewer lines and things that are deplorable, and now instead of being able to tap onto a sewer and have a 60 by 60 residential lot, there's a lot of counties that are contiguous to Fayette, Georgetown, Scott County, Jefferson County specifically, who are requiring you to do an acre so you can have a septic tank instead of a sewer tap. And that increases the prices exponentially from 300,000 to $1 million.
Right. Well, and it's way out usually, right? The new construction is just getting further and further out.
Further and further.
Yeah, we're faced with a lot of that as well. But some of the builders are having great interest rate programs. So I know a lot of agents are totally focused on, promoting those new communities so that they can pull people in, with those different interest rates. So there's an opportunity for you there as well. And I'll talk about some different lead sources that you may or may not have heard of that you might want to tap into. So we've got every market has obstacles. And the best show up with a way to conquer those obstacles. And that's what, you're gonna be doing. You're gonna be helping that shortage. I mean, it sounds like an opportunity to me. So what has anybody been trying? Anything novel that you want to share? What's been really working for you right now?
Go to law school network.
Find some new classes.
Networking at law school is great.
Farming, like farming neighborhoods and, even if you get one listing from it, then it's well worth.
Right. I can tell you my sphere of influence is dug in. They're not doing anything right now. They're like, and that's, that's usually where I can go in and get a sale today from that. So, when you get stuck with that, what do? Like, yeah, we gotta reach out. We gotta look for different lead source options. Anybody having anything else really work for you?
Just going out of my comfort zone a little bit on, travel time, because, I've got out-of-state buyers that are looking all over Kentucky. They're not looking at just one area.
Right.
They're looking for property and the house comes second. They're looking for, big farms.
I'm seeing that trend too. Agents are going,
Yeah.
and now that we've got the blessing, really, of the NAR changes, we don't really have that stamp anymore of other MLSs not paying us.
So how far out are you going? What's your farthest?
Today, I'll be probably 3 hours away one direction.
Yeah,
Because
I'm seeing
sold
that.
4 properties.
2 hours.
It's the same.
I knew she was doing it, so I wanted to, for people to hear how far.
Right, and you know what, Spring, thank you for being honest, because that is a trend that's happening right now. It really is.
Yeah.
And, and buyers actually are expecting us to be able to work the entire state, which has not been the case in the past several years. So it's kind of like a new perspective, like, well, I mean, and we used to always say, well, I'm licensed in the whole state, right? Well, we don't know anything about that area.
Well, my other challenge has been with doing this is that we don't have access to their MLS.
Yeah.
So I'm going in and making Excel spreadsheets that address exactly what each property offers and sending that to my clients so they can pick their favorites. And they even have me looking to see if the roads will allow semi, horse trailers. I mean, excavation equipment, whatever they're bringing with them, if they got two sharp returns or whatever, I can't, I gotta rule those out. So I feel like I don't know, definitely multitasking.
Okay, so one of the things is working with buyers, because if you had sellers in those areas, you'd be a lot happier.
Yes, yes.
So, and you know what? It always comes back to that. If we're feeling frustrated, it's probably because we're working with the lead source that frustrates us the most, and that's buyers, right? I mean, they're just gonna keep you up and down, up and down, up and down.
I'm going to every holiday party I'm invited to, whether I want to or not. And sometimes I pass out business cards with numbers on them, and then I do a drawing for a gift card, or,
Yeah, that's awesome. You're staying visible, okay?
yeah, and that's what they keep saying, top of mind, top of mind.
Yeah,
top of
yes,
mind, right?
visibility. We are so easily forgotten, and people think we've already started new careers because the interest rates went up.
I got a text earlier from one of our agents, Jessica Moody, who was dressed like an elf yesterday for something. And she said she handed out more business cards yesterday than she has the entire time she's been a real estate agent, because everybody wanted to talk to her.
Oh,
So I'm not saying you'll dress like an elf every day, but.
Well, I do have an agent that I work with, and she's in Tuscaloosa, and she dresses up like the Grinch, and she does like tons of parties. So she is in front of so many people. So when we get to the events section, we'll really start breaking some down so that y'all can get in front of one to many. So that's genius, by the way. That's actually a good thing to do, and that's fun and it's easy. Now, it never sounds like fun because nobody really ever wants to go. Then when you go, you're like, oh, okay, right? All right, so if you'll take your phone out for me, I have an app that's free, for you to download, and it's called My Six Figure Day. And I developed this years ago, while I was at Remax, and, because one of my agents said to me, it'd be really cool, Jenny, if you just made a game that, we could play every day. So I'm like, hey, it's a great idea. Immediately made it. And these are all action steps that you can be productive every single day. Because here's what I've learned over the years. Only 1% of you in this room are ever going to time block. So it's a bunch of bogus BS crap. I can tell you all day long, put on your calendar from 9 to 11, time to prospect. And from 9 to 11, you're going to check Facebook. And then you're going to, I don't know why I'm not selling anything, right? So let's actually talk about and discuss things you're gonna really do. And what I have found is most real estate agents, as long as you get it all done in a day, then you're better at that than trying to block everything in a 2-hour time period, because then you start beating yourself up. You start like, I didn't even make the calls I was supposed to make. I wasn't ready, or you'll do it great for one day and not the next, right? So let's be consistent. This sheet right here will give you, and you can do it on your phone, but it's all on this, this kind of right here. You guys want to make sure. So let's go over some of these. Excuse me. And you can take notes on the back if you want to. So you get 30 points, right? Your whole goal every day is to get 100 to 150 points. Then you had a 6-figure day for the day. If you, right now, what I'm trying to tell people to do is double that. Try to get up to 200 to 250 a day, because we got to do a little bit more work, a little more activity, a little more conversations to get that ball rolling. And you can pick the things that you want to do every single day on here. But what I love about it is you don't have to do the same things every day. You can do different things. Now, there are passive and active things. I sent a video to you about one of them, and that is giving reviews. Who in here is a Google influencer for reviews? You are? Okay. There's always one. So, hallelujah. All right. So people actually are welcome and want your reviews. Everybody in this room can do it. So how I would start doing that, you can do 5 a day. If you're a night owl and you stay up till 11 o'clock prospecting and doing paperwork and stuff like that, you can do it then. If you are early morning, then you can do it then to be productive. But 5 a day, right? And by the end of the week, you've got a bunch. super easy to do. Always say, when you are doing your reviews, as a busy real estate agent who services XYZ areas, right? I love this restaurant. I shop at this gift store every day, whatever it is. And give them a phenomenal, glowing review. Especially if it's a local business, you want that manager to know who you are. You want that owner to know who you are, because you are an ambassador for your community, right? And in the video that I sent, if some of you watched, not everybody's gonna click on and watch those things, but, there's a $40 million producer in Tuscaloosa that I coached for years, and she was like, oh, I can do that. She literally, it cracks me up. Some people just get super lucky, right? She literally did it the next day at 7 a.m. for a builder, and he gave her a listing that afternoon. So they do pay attention. But I have people actually call me all the time from the different reviews that I have out there, because I'll say I'm a busy real estate agent, as a busy real estate agent, right? People want to work with busy. So you can make yourself look any way you want to. So that's just one fun thing, right? That will actually get you some business. Of course, 20 new prospecting calls to fresh leads. That, yeah, okay, so where are your fresh leads coming from? If you have buyer lead sources, so Remax is not doing Lead Street anymore, right? You got Katie Core? Okay, so I have Katie Core, and I can't ever get those damn people to answer the phone. I have a problem with that, like, they do not respond to me, but I know lots of agents that make a ton of money off of it. It's just one lead source that doesn't really work for me. Now, I still invest by boosting and advertising through Katie Core. Katie Core lets you do a lot of things that are very easy and systematized. But because I want to show my sellers that, you know, there's actual activity going on. But if you call those, right, then you get 30 points for those if you've got 20 of those. Let's just say you reach out to 10 people in your database of people you know, then you get 20 points for that. The other day, I sent, hey, what are your plans for Thanksgiving? Out to 10 people. I got a $600,000 listing from that. Right? It's still not on the market yet. He's still getting it ready, but he immediately sent back, hey, we're planning on doing this. I need you to come by next week because we're ready to go ahead and put this house on the market in Greystone behind the gates and Founders. So I'm like, holla, right? That's so easy, y'all. Easy, easy, easy. It doesn't, you don't have to ask about business. Ask about the person. Now, there are other ways that you can send that. Let's just say that there's a hot new property that came on the market right now, and you're probably doing some of this. So I don't want to be talking down to you at all. And if you're not, then you're like, oh yeah, that's a good idea, right? You've thought of it before. You just hadn't done it, maybe. But if there's a hot property that's coming on, then take that property and text it to everybody and say, look at this neighborhood. This one actually just hit. It's got, you know, it's golf course lot, whatever. This is a rarity. Send that out, because then you're top of mind and you're pushing property. So that they are relating you to real estate. Now, years ago, I came up with the magic question. Well, I didn't come up with it. I actually was a victim of it. So I had a financial planner walk into my office, and I did some business with him. I hung out with him at the chamber here and there. I really didn't like him that much. You know, those people, you're like, yeah. He asked me a bunch of questions, and then he said, hey, I always like doing business with you. What 3 people do you know that would also be interested in talking about their financial future? And I was like, huh. Okay, I literally gave him 5 because I'm an overachiever. And when he walked out the door, I'm like, I just gave him 5 people with their cell numbers on it, knowing he's going to use my name. And I don't even like that guy. Like, it's because he asked me, and it hit me. Then immediately, here's where our minds go. Okay, all of us do this, and your prospects do it too. So immediately I'm like, oh my God, the guy that I love, my financial planner that I love, he's never once asked me for referrals. I must not be his ideal client. Right? Like, I want to be your ideal client. And he never once asked me. So that kind of started making me think as well, like, I need to be better connected to him because I like him better. But I need to be asking the people who love, know, and support me because I'm not asking. They might think I'm not interested in helping people they know. So this is that was a good perspective learning for me. So I'm in Seattle in this class and, this man comes up to speak and he said, okay, I come from the insurance world. And in insurance, we ask in threes because psychologically we're going to get an answer of one. I went, oh, there's the reason. You ask in threes, not to get three, but to get one. So what do most trainers say? Most trainers will say, hey, you know anybody who needs to buy, sell, or invest? Well, you totally just give them schizophrenia, right? So what do you normally hear back in a script? That's right. I can't think of anyone, but hey, I'll sure pass your name wrong. You know, the same old thing. We hear it all the time. Okay, but we were productive, right? We thought we were productive. But what if I just say, hey, I don't know if you know what the market is like right now. I mean, inventory is so low. I've got buyers just begging for things. We've exhausted everything in the MLS. Oh God, if you could sit here right now and think 3 people that need to buy a house in the next 60 days. You're probably going to sit there and think about 3 people, right? Because I was only very specific. And I also wrapped it up with a sense of urgency. I don't need you like, hey, just, one day if you think about it or come across or something, right? Like I need this now, right? Look, we're desperate. And the language that I'm using, right? All of that will get me to start thinking, okay, let me give you this person. And then you'll be surprised as you are training your foot soldiers, because that's what you're doing when you're asking these questions, especially when you set it up the right way. So the way that I set that up with her was my natural way of setting it up to make it feel comfortable to me to actually ask you that question. So practice with it so that you're comfortable with it. Otherwise, you're never going to do it. You're going to be like, oh my God, that's just too much. I can't ask if somebody needs to sell a house. I'm actually an agent who could help them. But more often than not, they will start sending you. Now, you're going to get, hey, I saw this for some owner in my neighborhood, right? You're going to get some of that stuff as well. But they're going to be on the lookout whenever you ask them very specifically what you want. If you don't want buyers because you don't want to be driving 3-4 hours away from here and putting in all that work, I mean, she is really going the extra mile for her clients. Then ask her what you really want. You want a seller in your backyard, right? Okay, so you get 20 points for asking 10 people that, and you can do that in the grocery store. If you wear your name tag, people are going to talk to you, right? They're going to want to know about real estate, and then ask them the magic question. I have had people who will actually post this and think they're being productive. It is not powerful to post this as a Facebook post or whatnot. It doesn't come across as much because it's much better in a one-on-one conversation. All right, we talked about reviews. Okay, introduce people that need to know each other. Okay, you have people in your sphere of influence that could actually benefit from knowing each other. What happens when you connect your painter and your stager and they get business from it? Who do they think of? You, and they're going to be busy looking for opportunities for you. So why not create opportunities yourself? And it's so much fun. It brings me such joy to put people together that actually work and it's mutually beneficial. And they'll always remember it. And they constantly will be on the lookout for you some business as well, some referrals. So right now, since you've got a little bit extra time on your hands, and I know the holidays are here and whatnot, I would say get into some of these meetings, have, coffee with 2 other people, bring them together, introduce them, think about how and who in your sphere of influence needs to be connected, and just be in front of those people, top of mind, put them together. That means your 2025 is gonna be really good if you do that at least once a week. So, do an endorsement video of a small business. How many people are doing that? Okay, great. People love these, and you're probably not gonna get like a ton of likes on it. It's not about that. It's about you and being ambassador of your community and knowing those places and highlighting those places. And when you ask that owner slash manager if you can do that, now you've got someone new in your sphere of influence and your network, right? That you can market to. Add 10 new people to your database. How do you do this? I wouldn't do it through KB Core. That's a whole different animal. We do it from introductions, right? Asking other people to introduce you. Hey, you know what? You're just my style. I just love working with you. You're my ideal client. You passed my home sellers training. You need to be teaching all my other home sellers. You know, would you mind introducing me to a couple of your neighbors? A great way to add people in. And if you're going to those parties, right, you're getting those names. It's better for you to get a business card than to pass one out. What do we do with business cards? Oh my God, so nice to meet you. Right? And then we totally forget you. So you want to get a name, and we carry the best networking tool with us everywhere we go, right here. So all we have to do is say, oh my gosh, it's been so nice talking to you today. What was your name again? People don't even ask anymore, like, oh, you're putting me in your phone? They're like, all right, I'm getting in the phone. Okay, and then I can send you a personal note card, right? And then I can add you to my other marketing stuff, and you can always unsubscribe if you were just being nice to me in the moment, right? That's what we do in the South. I will have to say, I do love everybody, most everybody. Okay, so, and that note cards, okay, note cards are something like I want to actually do every day. This is the one thing that's on my wish list that I never get to. Now, I make it up by a different way, and I don't know if some of you need this, because if I send a note card, I want it to be like so good. Like, I want you to remember it, and I want to put my heart into it, and I want it to be so personal about you. So it takes a minute, right? And when you're super busy from appointment to appointment, you just can't get in that super personal touch. And I am not sending a blanket one. I'm not going to send some mediocre, boring, where you know it's canned. That's trash. So what I do instead of this one is I get my assistant to use send out cards. Do y'all use send out cards? Okay, send out cards is a phenomenal app. And so whenever you see people having grandbabies on Facebook, I snag that photo, I send it to my assistant and say, hey, send them a congratulations on this grandbaby and use this photo. And it's super personal. Are they ever going to throw away a photo of their grandbaby?
Never.
Never.
That would be a sin.
That's right. They're gonna put it on the fridge, right? And literally, they send you the most grateful messages and phone calls when you do this. And if you're in front of social media scrolling every day, right, you've got tons of ways that you can send personal cards like this. I've sent out 5 of them this week. Some were sympathy, and no, I didn't put photos of anybody on those. Now, if a dog dies, I do the photo of the dog. And now that actually gets the biggest reaction. People call it, you're such a good person.
We love our animals.
I know. You love this grandbaby, but that dog. So,
And right now is a good time to do it, because I keep a box of cards sitting on my desk, and I have a checklist. A bigger binder.
go, systems.
I have the left side, and I have it numbered for every day of the week, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I send a personal message to every person on the left-hand side
You're so good.
via Facebook, because I have a lot of Facebook people.
Yeah.
So I send a personal message, and usually I'm a singer, so I sing for people's birthdays.
Oh,
So
I
I
love
sent you a
that.
personal song for your birthday.
Sweet.
And then on the right-hand side is my card side. And I don't, like, that's how I start every day when I get to my office. Do that, and I'm done.
That's
And
fantastic.
Christmas is a great
Done
time
it.
to get started.
That was a little time blocking there too.
Oh,
You got some.
didn't know what I was doing.
You got some discipline, you got some discipline on you and,
Gotta
some
get it done.
systems. That's really good. So we send out cards as well. You can actually have like a picture of you, like with a birthday cake. Like I've got one with my husband and me saying, hey, happy birthday, and we are blowing out a candle. And then I've got one with my business partner and, we send out to our agents. And so you can put your database of everybody's birthday in there and it's just super personal. That you can add those little touches to, which is really fun. You know, that's the fun part of it. But you can systematize it. All right, so, we've got so much good stuff, right? Like we gotta keep going. We got a limited amount of time. So, okay, this one is so easy. Complete and post a Facebook Live story, Instagram story, or reel. Easy, easy. Like 20 social media posts. Why? Why is that important? Keep them in your feed, stay in top of mind, and it's even better if you comment because they know you're paying attention to their lives. And then they're gonna see all of your postings because of the algorithm when you are liking 20 people a day. Guess what? If you double that up, that's so hard. Oh my God, I just liked 20 people, right? Like, come on, that's so productive. Easy to do. Then you double it up and let's say you like 40 of them, you get 60 points. See where I'm going here? Easy stuff. All right, if you schedule a buyer or a listing appointment, then that's 10 because not everybody shows up. So that's low points, but good for you. You got somebody to agree, right? Now let's say they show up. Now you get 50 points because your job description, all of this is crap, by the way. Your job description is to get buyer appointments and listing appointments, period. Not showings, appointments. New client appointments, that's your job description. So however you use it, any method that you want to, you know that is the whole purpose of doing all this. So if you complete one, then that's 50 points. You complete exercise, that's a gimme. Gimme. You saw my kettlebells in here. So I had to get mine in before we got started today. That's 20 points, but it gets your mind set right. You feel just a little bit stronger to go out there and ask the magic question. You feel a little bit better, raise your energy levels. When your energy level is up, then you attract people to you. And that's why exercise is on here for 20 point. And y'all, there are 8-minute workouts. Doesn't have to be something extensive, no marathons. Obtain a listing, buying agent agreement from one client. So let's say, okay, I scheduled it, got 10 points, I completed it, got 50, and they hired me, got another 30. Right, smoking. Face-to-face prospecting coffee or lunches, and that could either be with networking people or just popping by different offices. I'm big, I like the idea of you stopping by and taking breakfast or snacks to offices that actually have people still in them. But like banks and insurance companies, especially if you can think about where your clients work. If they work in an office environment, what if you stopped in and said, hey, I'm in the parking lot. Can I hop in? I brought some donuts for everybody. How are you going to be introduced?
The donut lady.
Janet, the realtor.
That's right. Yes, my realtor. This is my realtor. Oh my gosh, she was so sweet. She brought these donuts and you've got your business cards taped to everything. And you can even turn it into a game. So I coached, everybody has their own style, right? Like the extrovert loves this. Introvert is like over my dead body. So to make it work for the introverts, I used to turn that into, a giveaway every single month where he could go in, and when I say he, his name is Jason Cook, he could go in and say to an orthodontist office, for instance, right? Hey, I brought a snack here for everybody, but every month, I'm giving away 2 lunches at XYZ, some hot, place to go. And if y'all would fill all these out, I draw once a month, everybody fills them out. Now he's just gotten 20 new people in his database. Okay, so there's a way to do everything that fits your style. And what's beautiful about this, you don't have to do all of it, just pick a few things that you like, that you're passionate about, that matches who you are, so you're very authentic and genuine the whole time. Okay, y'all with me still?
Yeah.
All right, okay, so promoting a listing, you get 10 points for that. Everybody will always think it's your listing. Now, you'll have to ask, Christy if it's okay, if y'all do that, have an agreement with agents that I work with that we always promote each other's listings. Just give them credit for it. Get a price reduction. When you get a price reduction, what happens?
At the top.
Yeah, you're getting closer to a payday, right? So that's big points. That's 30 points. Now, here's a little side note tip. Get your price reductions up front. Whenever you take that listing, go ahead and have your price reductions all worked out. And people are going to tell you, you gotta be a leader, right? And then show them why it's important. Hey, if it doesn't sell in 30 days, no, we have the internet. 7 days is all it needs, and you know that house is overpriced. So go ahead and say in 7 days, this is what we're gonna come down to, okay? If you wouldn't mind initialing right here. And if it hasn't sold in another, 10 days or whatever, this is what we're coming down to, initial right here. These are the net sheets for those things. Now, listen, I'm not gonna call you, Diane, that day and tell you I'm about to do it. I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. Because this is part of our plan, okay? Then I'm gonna send you a message saying it's been done. Why do I wanna make sure I say that? Yeah, and you know what a seller does? If I call you and say, hey, today's the day, we agreed on, we were coming down, what you gonna say?
No.
That's all you can say.
Time for another week.
Yeah.
There's no waiting around here. We're doing it now. So, that's just a little tip I learned over the years. Okay, so send, just sold postcards or farming mailer. You get, 20 for those. I recently lost to, one of my really good friends, a listing on my street. That's how bad I sucked. He's adorable and he has sold 500 houses in our little small town. I think I'll hire him to sell mine. But she interviewed, 4 of us. And I said, where did you get, of course, I'm always asking for the agent side, right? Like, sure, I'll get the business, but if I don't, I want to know all the stuff, the agent side that I can help the agent. I said, where did you get all of our names? It's because we've lived on the same street for years, but we've never met. I've talked to you twice. You clearly didn't remember me, when I walked in. And, she said, you sent me a letter. So people keep postcards and letters. They're just not ready yet. Right away. So don't stop with one. Continue, hammer, because she showed me, she picked them up. See, we had all sent mail and that was pretty powerful if we wanted to get to sellers. Okay, so host an event, that's 50 points because we're marketing one to many right there. We get people to show up and we can love on them, and we're gonna go over events and some different things that, you can do for that. Send a mass email to your database, you get 10 points because 20% open it, then you didn't reach everybody, but at least it's something and the subject line had your name in it, right? So you could stay top of mind a little bit, doesn't take a whole lot of effort, you can usually hire that out. Send a letter or a postcard, to your, database specifically. Like I always send out Thanksgiving cards. I don't do Christmas because it gets lost in the shuffle, but Thanksgiving is, just a good time. So this past week, I'm like, oh man, thanks for the card. Thanks for the card. Thanks for the card. You're welcome. What 3 people do you know that need to sell a house in the next 60 days, for God's sakes? So then, host an open house. Are y'all doing open houses?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Then you'll get points for that, get a testimonial or review. So when, a lot of times people will hire you from testimonials or reviews. So you get lots of points for that. That's 30 points. So everybody here have a Google My Business? Okay, most everyone, four people, five? Okay, all right, this is super important for you to be on Google. One of my agents freaked out around October, maybe a little bit before, and she said, I'm not getting anything, I'm not closing anything, nobody's doing anything. You know, she's just had a lot of fear. And I sat with her, set up her Google business page. Actually, this was last October, and most everything she's closed this year has been from that page. And of course, you know, I'll see on there, oh, another one under contract, 1.4. I'm like, wow. So just making sure that you get out there, and then you don't want to ask for everybody in your sphere of influence to give you a review, but you do want at least 30 reviews, because that is going to keep you at the top of the algorithm. And you want to ask for maybe 3 a day, because if you get a ton in one day, right, the algorithm looks at that negatively. But if you get 1 a day, then they look at it positively, and they put you up at the top more often. So, and then I already told you about take breakfast to snack. Did anybody find anything on here that you're gonna try next week?
We're doing the event Saturday.
Awesome, okay. Good. And you can challenge yourself on the phone and keep up with it all day long. I've got a group coaching that I do called 6 Figure Intensity, where you're posting it all day long as you're getting your points. So you're holding yourself accountable, because nobody is going to make you successful in this business but you. Here's the #1 thing for all the years I've been in real estate, especially as an instructor and as a coach. I just need accountability. It's an excuse, because the second you get it, you run like hell. If Christy picks up the phone and says, hey, we went over these goals and I'm just calling to see what you've done, you won't call her back for 2 weeks. I know you. I blocked her. What I'm saying is, most of you are so highly driven, you don't need additional accountability anyway. But what if you put some extra steps in there to hold yourself accountable? To do the things you really want to do, so that you are proud of yourself and that you are hitting the goals that you want to achieve, and that you're also making the income that you want. Because let's face it, 6 figures is, it's, yeah, 6 figures, right, is hard to live on today. It's got to be your minimum. It has to be your minimum. We've got to really bump that up if we want to enjoy the finer things in life. And you deserve it. You absolutely deserve it. So this is just another way for you to hold yourself accountable, because she has children. Right?
They're all grown.
And I'm all like,
100.
yeah,
And I love them all.
of course you do. And that's just it. You want to give everybody in this room what they want and need. But the only people in this room that can give everybody what they want and need are yourselves. And it's not that hard. But I don't want you to be a little bit motivated today and not take that next step. I want you to dream big. I want you to say, hey, 6 figures is great, but wouldn't like multiple, wouldn't 2, wouldn't 3 be great? Like how different would my life look? And how many more blessings could I give people if I were at the 300,000 mark or the 500,000 mark? And one of those things, if you're talking about goal setting, is that's super important to me, is every year I have a giving goal. How much money am I just going to give away? And undetached, right? Detached, I should say. We're real articulate in Alabama. But if I could give away $10,000, how would that make me feel? You know, to needy situations, passionate. How much money do I have to make so that won't hurt? And that gives you a different way to get into motivation. Because one thing I can tell you about real estate agents, y'all are the most loving, giving, passionate hearted people on the planet. And that perspective of how much can I give away actually may make you do better than, hey, I want to make 300,000, because then you feel guilty. You feel like you're making it about you. And when you do a giving goal, it makes it about someone else and your generosity. Everybody wants to be generous. So let's talk about events. Oh, somebody's calling to sell me a lead source. Love those. All right, anybody planning, you said you were planning events, what is it? What you doing?
So a group of us, Jessamine County Realtors, have gone together to do a big event. We did one in Wilmore last weekend. We had a wonderful response, and then we're doing one in Nicholasville this weekend. And so we collected donations from vendors like banks and whatever. And we're doing hourly giveaways and just giving back to the community. And,
So did y'all rent a venue and invited the community there?
no, in Wilmore, we were outside and we brought a tent and set up a table and lights. I mean, it was really nice. And then this weekend we'll be in an indoor event, but it's like a pop by all day long through the whole downtown Nicholasville, where people stop by their stores and shop and stuff. But there's kids' activities and all sorts of stuff.
Fun, that sounds well planned out.
Very well planned out.
And you've got a good follow-up system to get back to people.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. All right.
You know.
Good. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So I love it. Anybody else doing events? So I'll throw out a couple of cute ideas. You can either do your sphere of influence, or you can do geographical target, or you can do like the whole community, right? As far as getting your mindset right. Now, you're going to have the best response from your sphere of influence, period. But if you open it up to your community, you can increase your database more. So one of the young agents I was working with, just a couple years in the business, and she, oh my Lord, she is phenomenal. She had the most brilliant idea, and she gave away free haircuts for back to school. She had a food truck out there. She had activities for people waiting, paid for all the haircuts, had some sponsors contribute toward it, right? Every mama was there. Who makes the decision in real estate? The mamas. So I thought it was a brilliant idea. And then somebody ripped it off from her the next year. But y'all have lots of communities you could do it in, right? All different near elementary schools all over the place. But love that idea. I thought it was completely unique and original, and just brilliant on her part. Talk about being top of mind in the community over and over through her social. So movie events. So I've got one RE/MAX agent that I've coached for 10 straight years, and he's just amazing. We always, every year, do, have done in the past. I stopped coaching, by the way. That's when I went into sales. I stopped doing, I do some group and I do a little bit of one-on-one. But so when I say did, that's, I didn't want to confuse you. I still help and teach and do a lot of this stuff, and every once in a while I'll take on some clients here and there. But we did a movie night for him every single year, and you talk about what a success. You have to pick a child movie to make it work. And we would blanket one whole, he is the HighlandLakesGuy.com. And if you ever want to look him up, his name is Vinny Alonso. And we would invite the entire neighborhood to come to this movie event, and they have to RSVP. So he mails them the invite. Then we would put it in the newsletter that he also mailed out, and they have to call and get their tickets. So then he gets the email and the cell, and now he can really target. This is the neighborhood that he lives in. It's about 1,800 people that live in that neighborhood. So it's a good market. Crowd out, always packed out the movie theater, have a photographer on site, taking the pictures, right? Having that sent, the sponsors pay for everything. He never had to pay for anything, but the follow-up piece was the photo for being there. And then the thank you, the things that you can do with events. Like if I send you 10 invites, if it's email, mail, text messages, video, you're not going to be annoyed with me, because I'm inviting you to something of value. you're gonna be like, that is so not, they really want me to call. Right? But if I send you 10 messages about real estate, you're gonna be annoyed with me. You're gonna be like, spam blocker, I never want to see that person again, right? That's the beauty of what what an event does. Even if they don't show up, you have a reason to reach out to them that has nothing to do about sales and has everything to do with about you wanting to provide something of value to the community. Okay, so, I took what I learned with Vinnie's and I was working with another team in Tuscaloosa at a different brand. We did movie night and we got, what's the Cars digital, like Cars 2 came and we got it before it actually was released. At the movie theater, so it was kind of a little bit special. And, I had a, videographer do like a video that played on the big screen before the movie happened of like them and what the team provides to everybody and how grateful they are, et cetera. So it was super polished. Then I put referral cards asking what 3 people do you know with 6 blanks on it at every seat. And I stood up for them so they didn't have to. And I said, would you please pick up your sheets? And right now, I want you to think about all the people you go to church with, all the people you work with. I want you to be thinking about your family members and think about who is making a move. Ask the magic question, and I watched as these people brought down all of their referral sheets, and it was beautiful. And of course, I said, once we put them in here, we're gonna give, a drawing, by just even bringing your sheets down. So then I said, all right, I've got $100 if you'll take your phones out and leave a review for them. Now, I just told you not to do that crap because the algorithms messed it up, but they got 60-something reviews that night. That's impressive because they probably wouldn't have done it, right? You've got to hammer people a lot of times to get them to do a review. So all of these things for me to say are the power of an event if you set it up the right way. So I learned from Vinnie and then took it to these people and said, let's make it even better. I'm giving you the ultra details about it instead of saying, hey, y'all go do an event. Is that okay? Okay, because I really like meat and potatoes. If I show up to something like this, I better be getting a bunch out of it. So that's how I like to show up for y'all. Anything else on events? There's so many ideas that you could do here. I mean, I've done bowling parties for people, which are fun, vision boards for people, painting parties for ladies. I did one myself where I invited everybody to come to this local gift shop to teach people how to wrap, because their wrapping is like what makes it famous. Like when you get a gift from this one store, it's like, oh wow, you don't want to unwrap it because it's so beautiful. And that was fun. There was a lot of people that showed up for that.
I know people in this room have done events.
Mary did an excellent event. I'm beginning to think, I'm just totally going over here. I'm beginning to think of a better time it would have went over well, but she rented a huge dumpster. Sat in front of it, had a sign out front of it that was like, your neighborhood realtor is providing this dumpster, you can dump from this day to this day. It was in the spring or summer? Spring.
Yeah.
But then as you were talking, I was just thinking, all the storage containers come out right after Christmas. All the redo your home and organizing comes out right after the holidays. No, you don't want to sit in the cold, but maybe you could find a warm couple days in January and be like, hey, come and dump your Christmas trees that you don't want, your all this stuff, and just bring it here and leave it here. And I think you would have a massive turnout because we just moved and we had to rent a dumpster, and those suckers are expensive.
They are.
So I think it's fabulous.
And it's a great idea.
The dumpster.
Yeah.
Hopefully you're okay with that.
Still, that's a great idea.
Another realtor nice to buy one.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, actually, my son has a dump trailer, but he would probably spray handle it. No, he's very OCD, so everything is pristine, but he might, he would rent it I would say he was probably rent it and haul it and.
We can do that too.
Yeah, Mac.
Put a balloon on it.
Another agent, we did a tailgating one at a UK game.
That's fine.
That was okay. It wasn't as good as I thought it was gonna be because a lot of people just don't go to the games. You
Yeah.
know, I think now, young people, early twenties, a lot, we had a lot. And then I did one where I had a band at my farm. And invited kind of a close-knit group of friends and clients.
Yeah,
So that one was a lot of fun, but I made like, I don't know,
that's fun.
25 pounds of ground beef for nachos and, yeah, it was a lot of work. But it was fun.
One of, the agents in Birmingham, she did a cookie, she had one of the ladies that decorates cookies, she invited a bunch of people to come and learn how to decorate.
Oh,
cookies.
Yeah, that's a great
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, and it just allowed everybody to come together, but
Yeah.
then, talk about how much fun they. Just did like a reverse pot, where I do the Thanksgiving pies, where I just reach out to my clients and have them tell me what pies they want, and then I can buy them for Thanksgiving. But like you said, it gives a touch and it gives them that ability to talk back to me.
Right,
I may send it out to 60 people, but maybe only 25 want a pie, but the other 30 respond to my email and talk or send me a text or whatever. So it's a great touch to.
No, that is, and just, on the pie thing, we had did thousands of pies for agents. And one of my awesome agents, she got her son to deliver for her. So if you ever do this, don't do this. Everybody sent her pictures because ants were covered over, he dropped them at the front door.
Oh, no. Yeah,
She stood out though.
yeah. I had an admin who deliver pumpkins for me one year, and she put a pumpkin at the wrong address one time. She sent me a picture, and I'm like, that's not the house. Go get that pumpkin.
So much fun. You can do all kinds of events. I rented out a Mexican restaurant one time and had Riley Green do a concert. Right, the week, literally the week before he hit it big. I got so lucky, like he was all on the radio the next week. And that was so much fun. We had all the community there. It was a blast. Okay, so I told you I was gonna tell you about lead sources and, some things that we're gonna work. And how are we on time? Do I need to like put this in auto speeds?
Yeah, it's just connect relevant.
Oh, okay, we've covered a lot of stuff in a short amount of time then. Are y'all brain dead or good?
Okay.
Ready for more?
Yep.
All right, good. Okay, so who are my get viral people? Viral marketing? You know viral?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Frank, Frank Cleetzes. Okay, he owns Viral Marketing. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah.
Okay, so Frank is,
A VYRAL, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Frank is a genius. And, worked with him for so many years, helping, my agents develop their business. So one thing that Frank made a goal of, he said, I'm gonna be a millionaire through rental properties and I need about 200 of them. And he started buying in different markets and he reached that goal, and stopped doing it and said, from direct mail. Okay, he reached that goal from direct mail because he is a phenomenal writer, and marketer. And, he said, now it's time for me to help the agents do this. And so I actually started the program. I've had 2 mailings go out and I had 188 sellers call me. It's phenomenal. It really is. It's expensive because 10,000 letters have to go out because you have to hit up a bunch of people, but this is your answer to that shadow market of, knowing who will sell, because when you go to these appointments, a lot of times they're gonna say, oh, Tyann, thank you for coming over here. This is exactly what we wanna do, but we're not ready for 8 months. We're not ready, for whatever. It would be good to know people. Because they're in the background cooking, right? So when you get somebody that wants exactly what they've got, you can call them. I went on 18 listing appointments in 1 week from these letters. And it was hard.
I was gonna say.
I was going on 5, like in a day, and it just, it was a lot. But I I listed one that got the letter and sold it in 7 days, like closed on it in 7 days. So immediately right out of the gate, it made me money. I just double-ended another one. And I've got all these other ones that are still cooking. I've got one that just went live yesterday from it. So this works. Now, you've got to pin down your own area. Like, it's not gonna go out for everybody. But look it up. I don't get anything for promoting it. I'm here to give you ideas and things that will help you with your lead sources. I've had agents be super mad at me, and call me about it. So I'm gonna give you the good, bad, and the ugly. Because it does say in the letter, and really, what is marketing? Gets people to raise their hand, right? You're trying to get people to say, hey, I might be interested in that. And so it says the things that might make you be interested in that, but it says in there, if I sell off, there's a chance I can sell this off market, and if I do, it could be for a significantly reduced commission. Okay, so I've had other agents call me and say, why would you be discounting? And the thing is, I've listed it for far more than I listed anything I did last year. So, that's actually also the beauty of our situation in a way. Are y'all incomes going up on listings? I hope so. Cause it's easier to explain. They're like, yeah, okay, yeah. You can give yourself a raise with that. But even though I would try to tell them I'm not discounting anything, you know, some agents have been really pissed about it. But agents are gonna be pissed about your marketing when it's good. And so I even have on the disclaimer on the bottom saying, if you have an agent, please have your agent call me about this because I love my colleagues. So I have that on there as well. That it may not even matter to you, but I just bring that up saying I have had those conversations. It's Cleasits Direct. You can reach out to them.
Same again.
Cleasits, Klesitiz. Is that right? You can email Jack. He's my rep at viral, VYRAL. Oh, at getviral.com. Sorry. Getviral.com.
Is it viral or viral?
It's that's my Alabama coming out and my congestion. VYRAL.
Jack at viral.
Get viral.
And it's called Clisset.
That's his last name.
Let's see.
Frank Cleason. Direct. Okay, so, however, I will say that even if you don't go this route, and maybe some of you go this route and, some of you want to do postcards, then, you know, one of my really good friends, he hammers out postcards constantly, and that's where all of his listings come from. So if you want sellers as your target, which, yes, I want sellers as my target.
Yes.
Your life is so much better. Look at some of the postcard companies as well, like Wise Pelican and, some of those. And you can't send one time. Because how many times does it take for people to remember your name? 4.
7.
7. That's right. 7. So if you, this is how most agents think. I'm gonna send this out once a month. Well, then 8 months from now, you might get a phone call. Okay, so when you do direct mail, you have to go big and wide. Go all in. And it's gonna cost more money, but you're gonna get a better return from it because you're gonna actually have people reach out to you. All right, any other questions there?
Can you tell us what 10,000, what it is a budget? I mean, what would it?
So I pay $2,500 a month to the mail house to send that out. And then, I pay Frank, the way Frank sets everything up is so awesome. He is very, performance-based pay. So he sets up a different phone number that's different from yours on CallRail. And when the people call that number, you pay, $25 for every incoming call. So you better be good at converting. But, I mean, I'm about to get the one I just double ended. I'm about to get the house next door to that one because it was a referral. It just breeds into so many more. And I've got all of the shadow inventory that I can hook people up with off market if I need to. And that was one of the things you said you really needed. Of the
Is there a
chair.
commitment, like how?
No. That's what's so great with Frank. He's like, you can do it for 1 month, put it on pause. You will be overwhelmed. So I started making my own calls first and having the calls to me. Do not do that if you decide to go down that route. Now, he's gonna tell you best practices anyway. Plus, you're gonna have some of the people call you just to say hate stuff to you. And you don't need that affecting your mental, disposition when you're in sales. So I have someone who actually makes my calls for me and she calls them back. They call and leave a message on a voicemail. That's how great this thing is. And you just call them, she calls them back whenever, she logs in her hours and then just tells me where to go for me to show up for an appointment. So it's really cool, the way that it works. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is especially, you've got a lot of years in this business, you got some success stories. You've got stories that are gonna blow people's minds. And let's get that credibility out there, right? So credibility content is super important for your expertise to start really shining right now. When people are doing a lot of closing photos, you're gonna be doing tips on how you save somebody $25,000. And everybody needs to be doing this. So I would say, let's start with webinars, like anybody doing webinars. All right, look, you're just my star student today.
Well, I'm new, so I have to do everything.
Good for you for trying and doing it all, but webinars are very important. You can set them up on autopilot. You can go through every topic, and this is how my brain thinks. I want to go through every struggle that a seller has and say, I want to do a webinar for that. I want to do a webinar for that. I want to do a webinar for that. And so I've got one for divorce that I'll show you. That it's the questions to ask when you're a divorce attorney, right? Because haven't we all been in the situation working with divorce people that the wife thinks they need to win for some reason, and then she loses the house later or can't maintain it, it becomes a burden, and in the long run, he was the one who was freed from all the burdens and responsibilities of the house, right? So I've got a quick webinar of the questions to ask about that. That's just one idea. Because that's a good lead source, right? Divorces. People are gonna be divorcing in all markets, are they not? Right? People are also gonna get married in all markets. So having a webinar where you do a promo to a landing page to get them to register, so you have their information, then they come and do it live, you record the live. Now you've got it set up on autopilot and a system running in the background at all times. Make sense? I'm losing y'all. I'm losing you. You're gonna need him to explain how to do that. I am blessed with people who know how to set up landing pages. So it is a little bit more complicated, but if you want systems with your expertise and credibility running in the background to your targeted audience that you really, really want, then it's a great thing to do. So let's go to success stories. How many of you break down to say each one of my closings and what the success story was from it? Not a testimonial, not stats. I want to know the whole story, and I'll give you a case study, okay? You want to start with how you met, client's name, how you met. Because when you show somebody, it was a referral, right? What are you showing?
That people trust you.
Absolutely. People trust you. So, where did they come from? How did we meet? Meet Ingrid. Ingrid is a Dutch, military wife who absolutely loves the United States, recent widow, when, her, husband unexpectedly passed away. She started opening up bills and found that they were in foreclosure. He had refinanced their house during COVID and never paid one payment. So now she had to grieve, and we had to be on a timetable to get her house sold in no time, right? See, I'm setting up the story. And we met because her attorney made her call me because the agent that she had was not doing enough for her. And let me tell you, the obstacles, right? What was the goal? We have to sell this house or as much as we possibly can, because this is all she had left in her name of value. Because there were some benefits he had through the military, but not enough. Another house was in foreclosure as well. Bless her. The pool was bright green. Okay, so we've got the goal, we've got the obstacles. The liner was torn. There was 8 acres with no trees that had to be mowed every single week. I mean, we had a lot of stuff on us, right? You see them building it, all the obstacles and challenges. And then what did we do to overcome those? Okay, what did you do to overcome it? I'll tell you on this particular thing, I negotiated with the pool company to put her a new liner in that we could pay at closing. I also negotiated with them to come and clean it every single week without us paying for it because she had no money. Add that to it. She only wanted to sell it to another veteran. How about that? Throw that one in. And so I had to get it to pass VA. There were 22 rotten windows on the front of the house. This is why we all have these stories. Every one of them is like this, y'all. This is nothing. This is no different than another one that I could pull out. So I had to get my husband, who was a home builder, thank God, to go over there and wrap the windows in aluminum so it would pass VA. Okay, because if it hit the inspector, then 22 windows would have to be replaced, and we ain't got no money. Then we had the air conditioner stains painted, where it was dripping on the ceilings, and my stager and photos, and moved forward. And all the description in the listing would only be to the words that would appeal to another veteran. We had 2 multiple offers. Right now, we're talking about the outcome. What were the results of all of this? We had 2 multiple offers over 500 from veterans. And she was able to close on that when other people told her it wasn't worth it at all. So you have these stories on every single one that you do. Take everything that you closed on this past year and go through and in that format, the way that I just showed you. And now what do you do with them? Okay. You have the photo, you can leave the name off if you want to, but you can have the house or the people, and you can put that on your socials. You need to send that email out, because what I want people to say to you is like, wow, I know a lot of realtors, but you're really next level. You're different. And a closing photo or a cutesy reel is not going to do that like this will. This is what will move the needle with your expertise, and you all have it. So let's show it off. Because why do I need to hire you? I need to hire you so I'm your next success story. I need to hire you because, my God, what you just did for Ingrid. Like, I'm still crying over her. Like, I mean, and then I wanted, like, when we were buying her house, I had to beat 20 other offers with a VA on a garden.
Oh, my goodness.
I know.
How's she doing? We all wanna know. How
She's
big
so
are you?
precious. I'll tell you, I just sent her a grandbaby, send out card. She has a grandbaby that's the size of a stocking. She had it on Facebook, so I snagged it and had that sent. She's so precious, but she's a member of the family now, right?
Absolutely.
So that's exactly what I want y'all to do, and I want you to email it out. I want you to use it in your listing presentations. Have it there to say, hey, these are just a few of my success stories if you'll take a look at this. That's what people want to know. Have it on your websites.
So if we can get the clients to do an interview with us, like.
Yeah,
they could
she
be a
did a
part of
whole
telling the story.
video where she cried and yeah, so cute. But yeah, and match it up in that format that I'm talking about, because sometimes the clients talk about stuff that doesn't matter.
Right.
I can control this narrative.
Right.
In this format.
Sure.
But, you know, if somebody says, why should I hire you? You're like, look, my average days on market is 18. I usually get my sellers 2% more than most neighborhoods, whatever, right? I'll throw that out. Sure, that sounds good. And glad you know it, because most people don't, but let me tell you why. And you've got these success stories because they want to see themselves in the story. All right, fun stuff, right? Video tips. If you take and write down in 1 week all of the struggles that you had, that you had to overcome, and do a video tip about each one of those, you've got content forever. And people are super interested in this. So one of my agents that I work with, Brenda Blanton is her name, if you want to look her up on Facebook, she does this in her stories every single day, and most of her business comes from that and networking.
What's her name?
Brenda Blanton, and she's 3 years in. All right, and then the next thing that I want to address is that Google, on the Google business page. So your success stories can be a post. And Google likes to be fondled every single day. Yes. So if you do something with it every day, like you can take your listings and post as a product, right? And you can even have Canva put the price on that listing. Then you can come back and say, hey, it's under contract, and you can come back and say, hey, it's sold. So all your inventory can go on there. And then you could do your videos, I think as long as it's less than 1 minute, of your endorsements for local businesses there.
So you're doing this all on your Google Business?
Yes. Yeah, and make sure to put like, it'll say update. So you can do like a blog post. And so you can put your success stories there. And the more that you have filled out, the more credible that Google will find you. And you will start getting better and better clientele coming from that. Plus, people will really be able to see the kind of agent you are and your expertise.
Sunday daily or?
And you know, if you can just do it 3 days a week, that's fine. But in fact, I have slacked. I have not done one like in 2 weeks, maybe longer.
Did they say that it's best to do it like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, like this, a set day, like for algorithm
I
purposes?
don't know. That one I don't know. That's a good question.
You know, Paul?
I think there used to be some talk about like that, but I don't think there's a way to flex the algorithm, because like if I use Google Maps, it knows the exact traffic pattern and which lots to take. So I think it's as long as you're doing it.
That's the only thing that I'll say on myself, as long as I'm doing it. Getting it done.
I'll say, I don't know if I got this from something at R4 or whatever, but it was smart and it makes sense. So anytime if I'm in business week, I'm like scheduling something because it's visual, it has no sound. I do it for early in the morning, like it's going on at like 6 or something, because everybody just first thing you do, you have to look at your phone. But usually you're not listening, you're just watching, you have your thing off. But if it's got sound, I set it to post at like 4, because then everybody can come from work, they put their feet up and they would say like TikTok is scrolling, like actually there's sound.
Yeah, and if you put captions on, then they'll most likely read it. Yeah,
Sure.
on your video. So, but that's a good tip.
I read somewhere that you should never watch a video, saying I'm not, okay. Because most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
20-year-olds or 30-year-olds play with that.
That's me. That's what I do. Yeah.
On the phone, I was very phone. Yeah. I'm on silent.
So here's just an example of the one I was talking about. I wanted to give you some visuals.
Throughout the years, I've worked with many and it is such a struggle to decide what to do with the real estate, how to buy, how to hold. That's why my friend and I created a free, very quick webinar to arm you with all the right questions to ask your divorce attorney the first time you sit down with them. Just click the link below and you can learn all the details.
Okay, because see, there's nothing video, right? And then here's the link, and, that's that same video, and then it's got the details of what they're gonna learn. And, they can watch it now. And see, they've got to register. So I've got people early on in the game because, you know, these ladies be Googling that stuff early. But, so that just gives you an idea.
About the years I've worked.
All right, that's enough, hush. Okay, so this is another one that I do. This is a program called Agent Launch. And, I get probably 3 to 4 leads on it a day. They're not all great, and some of them are very much criminals. Thank to forewarn that, right? But it's the 8 ways to get your home sold. And it is a promo that I did that leads to a full webinar and with these downloads. And you can go to it so you can see what it looks like. And, I do have several listings from this right now. A couple of listings from this right now. They do answer their phone, actually. They, they're legit. They usually they own property. They're super interested in the fix-ups that they have to, put, into a house to get it ready for market. So they're interested in those kind of conversations. They're still way ahead of the game. They're usually not like, hey, can you come over today, Jenny? But I had a conversation last week of, hey, I've watched your webinar twice, and I really need you to come over and help me pick out colors to get the house ready. You know, we want to be out of here within 2 to 3 months. That's what you want all day long, right? So, again, I don't get anything off of this, but it's Agent Launch. What he's shifted this, I'm keeping mine with sellers. He has shifted a lot of his to new construction, home buyers. Because you're having a lot of success with that. But if you look them up, you'll find out more information about. Eric Preston is the name of the CEO. He's very fascinating, by the way.
Agent Launch.
Agent Launch. Okay, so you can go to this link if you want to, credibilitycontent.com, and I have a quick webinar there for you as an agent on how to add some of these things into your business. So it's credibilitycontent.com. And I can send everybody this presentation, these Google Slides afterwards, if you want it. All right, the next thing that, a lead source that I want to share with you, because guess what also happens in any market? People dying, y'all. So probate mastery, you can get this. My friend Bruce is offering this. He teaches probate mastery, and he teaches you not only everything you need to know as far as the language with probates, the systems, the steps of the process, but he normally charges $600 for this, by the way. So this is a huge discount. And he also teaches you how to build a business with it. He's moved markets a couple of times, and this is how he does it. Because let me see, asked him to give me the number on average of probates monthly. Okay, there are 70 to 80 probate records a month in Scott County. Those are leads for you right there. And if you don't want to look them up, because he teaches you how to look them up, then you can go to a system called The Leads, ALTheLeads.com. And they will provide to you the probate leads for your county you want to target.
Just be really careful with the probate stuff, I know it's not like immediately after they pass, but we had someone who was on our board of realtors. It's been about a year ago, his wife's mother died unexpectedly, and the next morning, someone called her and said, "How's the other house?"
Yeah. Yeah.
It was, so kept the date.
Yeah,
Make
there
sure-
is a right way to
Yeah.
do it.
It was a lot.
That is super tacky. All right, everybody got that? Okay. All right, so I wrote a book, that I haven't launched yet, but it's called, Sold with Love. And love is a platform, for putting, your business together, with listings and leverage. And, the right lead sources, right? Because if you're talking about, hey, I want, seller leads, but yet you're signed up with Zillow, or you're signed up with, Ojo, or you're signed up, with heavy buyer stuff, right? Then that doesn't go to what you really want. So it goes matching that, and then O stands for, offers, make offers to people that they can't resist. What am I talking about? How do you do that in real estate? Y'all know Alex from Rosie?
Mhm.
Okay, so if you take some of what he says as far as making an offer to someone that they would have to be an absolute idiot to say no to, right? That's like his thing. It's like, okay, how are we gonna do that in real estate? And I'm not giving you the answer to that, I'm asking you that question for you to think of what matches you authentically. Years ago, Craig Proctor had the, the guaranteed sale. I'll buy your house in so many days. I'll sell it in so many days, or I'll buy it myself. And that is an offer. That is an offer. I used to have one to say, buy this home from me and I'll move you for free. Where if I double into it, I would hire a moving company to get them to the house, and they loved it, right? But that is an offer that you can market to get behind. So, it's a great way for you to stand out, because most real estate agents don't make offers, right? Like most other consumer businesses. And then O is also for opportunity. We talked about that. How are you creating opportunity for people in your sphere of influence so that opportunity comes back to you? V is your value. Where do that value come? Those success stories we already showed, right? That and all the expertise that we talked about doing content, credibility content. And then V is also for visibility, which she was doing by going to all those holiday parties, staying top of mind, being visible, visibility. I want, the word is inescapable. I want you to be inescapable from your target audience. And then E is all my favorite stuff. It's your expertise. You can have expertise if you started yesterday, because you are in a room full of expertise surrounding you, right? It is energy. Energy's got to be high because you want to attract other energy to you. And when you've got good energy, you're going to do better. When your energy sucks, you're going to have terrible people in your life. Or worse, you're going to repel. So sometimes what I've witnessed, if people go into a slump, then a lot of times it has to do about energy. And around August 17th, there was a lot of energy that was down. And one of my agents on the way up here yesterday, she said, I just had a flat out darn terrible rotten attitude about all these changes. And she said, so I lost every sale that I had under contract. And she said, I just now have 4 pending because I embrace it and have a better attitude. Okay. So energy is actually super important. Expectations, right, is also that E. I think the expectations with the client. If you have someone who is frustrated with you, or you are frustrated with them, it's because expectations were not put out appropriately. I've got so many classes about that. And the last thing is enjoyment, is adding the fun and the surprise and the delight into your business process. Just like we talked about send out cards, just how you talked about delighting people with emails or text messages with that's very personal with the celebrity stuff that you did. Finding ways to add that personalization so that people will say, wow, my agent did this. And it could be something as easy as, hey, it was so nice talking to y'all last night at the, talking about discussing your house. Here's a Starbucks on me and on the way to work. Enjoy that on the way to work, right? You literally can text $5 Starbucks. And they, wow, how cool is that, right? Like adding those little things in to make you stand out and for you to have fun. When you're having fun, your energy is up and you're super proud of your process, which actually makes you a lot more confidence to win that business. So, all right, we've had a full day. Yes.
What did L,
Huh?
what did L like in love stand?
L, it stands for listings and your lead sources and getting you some leverage. So 6-figure intensity is a group thing that I do. Y'all are interested in it. I'll need at least 5 of y'all because just having 1 or 2 kind of sucks for energy. But having 5, we can be competitive and hold each other accountable. It's only $199 if you want to do that. It's only 4 weeks. 4 weeks in a row, and it's fun stuff, and we're holding each other accountable. You can just text me. I'm giving you my phone number. Say if you're interested in that. It's 205.
What?
It's 205.
Which says Tuesday at 5.
I usually do them at like 9 a.m. We're together for about an hour for 4 weeks in a row, but we're talking to each other all day throughout the day because we're saying, hey, I just got this done, and like, hey, I just got my exercise done, 20 for the win, that kind of stuff. Score, just got a listing appointment, this is how, it's fun.